Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you a very special gift. Today, we are going to be breaking down and reacting to Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Death and Porridge. Listen, I can't help it, okay? I was scrolling through the Tubi and I seen me this title and that's it. That's it. My fate was sealed, okay? And by extension, so was yours. Just saying, okay? This came out in 2024. There are no notable actors in it. No. What I will say is, though, also, when I went looking through artwork and stuff, and that's all I did prior was go looking through artwork, right? I like to find me a nice thumbnail. One of the promotional posters that I saw, and I believe I chose it for my thumbnail, actually said something about this movie being likened to a Wes Craven film. Now, that is a bold statement, okay? I know that he was hit and miss. I know he was hit and miss, okay? The curse was not his fault, okay? That was not his fault. He has done some questionable outcomes. But, I mean, it's Wes Craven, okay? An independent film peoples are going to liken their film, and I'm assuming it's their first film, to anything that Wes Craven has done. And it's like a stupid twist on Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Seriously. Listen, I had to. Okay, so we're going to jump in, all right? I did a quick character breakdown. We have Nicole, who is the one that put us in the situation we were about to be in, okay? She books this Airbnb that we're all going to, okay? We have Simon, who is the older friend of the group. Yeah, he's the older friend of the group. He's kind of weird. He says like weird off the wall shit. We'll get into that. Yeah. Then we have Jazz, who is kind of set up to be like the cool badass, right? And then we have George, who is kind of a fuck up of the group. He reminds me very much of the brother in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, the guy that was in the wheelchair. That character, that's who George reminds me of, and it drove me crazy. Because that character in Texas Chainsaw Massacre drove me crazy, okay? I never cheered so hard when somebody died in a movie. Oh my god. Like, but he likens to that character. All he does is bitch and moan. And then we have Kelly. And all I can say about Kelly is that she has weird dreams. She has weird dreams. We open up with her having a weird dream of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears doing questionable things in the woods, right? We see them dancing around somebody who appears to be chained to a chair with like a garbage bag over half their body. And then we see Kelly running through the forest. Listen, it's a lot, okay? But the movie truly begins with our friends driving through the woods to the Airbnb that Nicole has booked for the weekend. As they near said Airbnb, an offhand comment is made by somebody in the group about two lone teenagers walking through the woods. It's kind of a throwaway line, really. When they arrive at a rather large house, like a rather large brick house, okay? Yeah, it's like a 2-story. There's another part that goes long ways at the. It's a big place. They meet up with Simon. So Nicole, Jazz, George, and Kelly are all in one car, and they meet Simon, who is already there in his own car, okay? Keep that in mind. Put a pin in that. There are 2 cars, okay? Trust me. Trust me. Simon and Jazz end up, everybody, hug, huggy, good to see you, la, la, la. Simon and Jazz seem to be the closest of the guys. And they do the bro hug thing, and there's some like throwaway conversation about Jazz, and I'm assuming Simon too at some point were, I don't know, in the Ukraine or they were helping Ukraine refugees. Like, I don't know where they were going with that. They had to throw something political in there because, all these movies need to make some kind of fucking statement. It doesn't. It's a throwaway line, whatever, just showing that they're like, I don't know, involved, I guess. I don't know the purpose of that conversation. We don't get to know them through it. Like, there's no character development through it. It's meaningless. So I don't understand why they did it. Anyways, eventually everyone realizes that there's no key to get into this house. And when Nicole calls the Airbnb people to be like, yo, like, there's no key. Like, what we're here. There's no way in. All they say to her is, sorry, we sent you to the wrong location. Okay. I've never used an Airbnb, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Sure. The group decide to break in and stay the night. Somebody mentioning that they'll leave money to go toward the damages in the house, right? And once they're in, George immediately starts looking for the Wi-Fi, right? We got to have the Wi-Fi. Got to have the Wi-Fi. Like, it's one night, but we got to have the Wi-Fi. And this becomes, honestly, like a bit that goes on far too long. It really does. George going room to room, looking under beds. We see things under the beds that I don't know if we're supposed to know what's under the bed, but it's so dark you can't tell what it is. Like, but they kind of focus on it. The fact that there's shit under the bed, but there's no Wi-Fi. The house has no Wi-Fi. They notice a few odd things around the house. Like, there's only 4 of everything. There's only 4 cups. There's only 4 plates. There's only 4 bowls. There's only 4 chairs. And there's absolutely nothing to eat in the house except porridge. Like, there is 0 in the house. Which is odd. And they all keep saying how things are odd. This is so odd. This place is odd. This doesn't feel right. Right? Although they do find a phone, it is unplugged, and in fact the cord is missing. Like, there's a landline, but the phone cord is not there. Like, it, never mind it not being attached. It's not there. There is no cord at all. It's just a phone sitting on a mantle. Yeah. Keep that in mind too. However, though, I guess, Simon mentions that he's got some food in the trunk of the car because, I mean, he's that guy, right? So they all go and get everything out of Simon's car and proceed to make dinner. And while they're all sitting around the table, the conversation turns to pranks. Simon's like, so you guys don't still do those stupid little pranks or whatever every time you get together, right? So they're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and, laughing, whatever. And George is like, yeah, I'm still waiting for somebody to say that, haha, here's the Wi-Fi. He's still going on about the fucking Wi-Fi. And this is all a joke, and, the whole situation is a prank, right? Through that conversation, we find that Nicole has apparently lost her ass, as she puts it, in the stock market, and mentions pills that she's been taking that cause hallucinations. Like, okay. A lot of the stuff that's brought up in this is just throwaway shit, but the pills do come back. The group decides to turn in for the night, leaving Simon and Kelly in the kitchen. Well, they turn in, And, Kelly wakes up to a ruckus downstairs, and she wanders her way down. Surprise, surprise, it's her birthday. That's why they're at their Airbnb for the weekend, and they scare the shit out of her and do a little chit chat. They give her a present of sorts, a card, and she has a couple glasses of wine. Like, nice. Her friends don't have birthday drinks with her. She's, drinking by herself. Whatever. I just found that kind of weird. But eventually, Simon and Kelly are left alone in the kitchen. She tells Simon that she's been wanting to kiss him all night, and he completely dismisses her. Like, just completely. Oh, silly little girl. Then he says this shit.
Lovely night, and don't let anybody sleep in your room because you don't know who to trust anymore.
And then he kisses her on the forehead and, just leaves. After pouring her a second glass of wine. Simon, what? You freak. Okay. Next morning, everyone gets up. Simon and Jazz meet in the kitchen to see 4 bowls of porridge waiting for them. And Simon says that his tastes off, but he keeps eating it. Okay. Kelly and George come sit and eat. Nobody knows who's made this porridge. Like, everybody's asking who did this. Nobody knows. Okay. And again, Simon mentions that his tastes funny, but he keeps eating it. Simon is, in fact, a moron. The group wonder why they haven't seen Nicole. Nicole has vanished. Now, we did see, once the creepiness between Simon and Kelly happened, we do see Nicole up in her room trying to sleep. We hear ruckus, and that's it. We don't ever see Nicole again. Never. She's just gone. They decide to get the cars and get ready to leave. When they go outside, the cars are gone, and Simon all of a sudden passes out. And Jazz says, "Oh my God, he's been poisoned." Like, it's all very dramatic. Jazz takes off into the woods saying he's going to go get help for Simon. But what he's like, when they're all in the house and they're making Simon comfortable and whatever, and Jazz says to Kelly, or he says to Simon, "I'm going to get you some help," right? And then he leaves the room, he passes Kelly, and I don't know, they say something to each other, and Kelly says, "Don't go far." Okay? And then we see Jazz outside walking around, and then all of a sudden he just kind of turns around and beelines through the woods. Like, he doesn't tell anybody that he's doing this. Kelly starts wandering through the house, and we hear, like, creaks and cracks and random giggling. I'm assuming Kelly hears it. I'm not sure. I'm really not. I don't know. We hear it vaguely. If you're going to watch this movie, wear headphones, because I had the captions on because I couldn't understand. The audio in the movie was terrible. It was terrible. The dubbing, the sounds, I couldn't really hear. I only knew that they were happening because I had the captions on. So there's that. Anyway, she ends up getting a crank call from the landline. You know, the landline that has no cord. It's not plugged in. Suddenly, we see a burst of red light outside as Kelly walks in through the kitchen. Okay, she hangs up the phone and sachets her little ass through the kitchen. And all of a sudden we see this red light through the window. And a blonde chick in a mask, she's a blonde girl wearing the mask of a blonde girl, okay? And she throws herself against the window. And Kelly goes running to George, who says, it's got to be Jazz. Because they don't know that he has taken off. And, like, by the way, now it's like nighttime, okay? So maybe they've realized he's left, but I mean, like, he didn't say anything to anybody. And George asks her about the landline, and Kelly says it's not working. Like, George wants to call the... Nobody's called the cops at this point, okay? Somebody's been poisoned. Jazz has gone missing. There's people throwing themselves at the windows like birds flying into windows. It's like that. And nobody's called the cops? Like, nobody's called the cops. And George is like, well, what about the landline? What about the... And she's like, it doesn't work. What do you mean it doesn't work? You just got a fucking crank call on it. What are you talking about? You got a crank call. I mean, granted, it's not plugged into the fucking... It's not plugged in. There's no cord. But for the sake of the movie, the phone is working. Like... Anyways, next, we see Kelly washing up at a sink. And we see that she's not alone. The girl in the mask is standing behind her. Like, there's a curtain thing. I'm assuming it's the tub. And she's standing in that. And then, you know, she peekaboos long enough for us to see her. And then hides back behind the curtain or whatever it is. George decides that now is a good time to try Nicole's pills because he took them from her. You can't have those. Those are mine now. Yeah, now is a good time to start tripping balls. Okay, so he does that. And he too gets a crank call on the landline that still has no wire, no line. Okay, it still has no plug-in. This irks me, okay? But at least there's continuity to it, so whatever. And he eventually tells it's a chick giggling, right? And he gets pissed off and big brave and just tells her to fuck off. He starts wandering through the house. And when he gets a drink in the kitchen, he sees smoke and the red light outside, along with 3 people in bear suits and the girl in the mask. Goldilocks and the 3 bears. The biggest bear, we're going to just call him Papa for the shits and giggles of it all, okay? Papa is holding an axe and Goldie has a ginormous hand cannon, okay? Ginormous. This thing is like bigger than she is. This thing is huge. George goes and wakes Kelly, telling her what he saw. But when they get downstairs, of course, there's nothing there, right? Like, they all have cell phones. Nobody's called the cops. Just saying. Just saying. The next morning, Kelly, half awake, half asleep, is having one of her dreams, okay? Of 2 people in bear suits and Goldilocks. Like, she's what we see is the same set of people that George saw outside, okay? And it's the same people we see when the movie opens and she's having that dream in the woods. I don't know if Kelly is supposed to be somehow psychic or I don't know. I don't understand the point, but whatever. I don't know. I've watched the movie twice now, and I don't understand. Anyway, she hears screaming, and we see the crazy group of cosplayers outside with someone tied to a chair and covered up. Very much like in the opening dream, okay? And they're all armed with various weapons. Okay, all 4 of them. George and Kelly, knowing that this is a trap, decide to help the unknown girl outside. When they do, they find that the girl is actually chained to the chair and run back to the house as the crazy dress-up people come running out of the woods and seem to throw a grenade because all of a sudden the front yard kind of explodes. Like, they begin to torture the girl as the others watch. And once the psychos go back into the woods, we see a car speeding toward the house. It's Simon, who has found who has somehow gotten over being poisoned, okay, and found his car. Because the cars were missing, if you recall, okay? They went looking for their cars after, like, on the first morning and couldn't find their fucking cars. They thought Nicole took off with 2 cars. This movie. He ends up hitting Papa Bear. He hits Papa Bear with the car. And retrieving the other 2 from the house, Simon gets Kelly and George into the car and punches out Goldie, which is kind of epic, I'm not gonna lie. Now, of course, the car won't start. Why he stopped the car, I have no fucking idea. Like, he turned the car off. Why? Why would you turn the car off? Like, Simon gets out to check, and as he does, Goldie gets him with the hand cannon. Like, a lot. And she's giggling and laughing, and I gotta tell you, she reminds me, like, the maniacal giggling, she reminds me of a Walmart version of Baby from House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, Baby is Gucci, Goldie is Walmart, okay? The remaining 2, right, Kelly and George, get out of the car and split up, okay? They go running back toward the house, but they split up. While Kelly runs into the house, as one should, George gets caught at the gate and dragged into the woods. Papa Bear moves toward the house to claim Kelly, but is distracted by Jazz, who is standing nearby with nunchucks. Like, he's had them this whole time. We see him playing with them out in the woods, playing. He does this whole exercise thing and then goes through like a kata with his nunchucks. Whatever. These silver nunchucks. They are kind of pretty, I won't lie. I do like nunchucks. It's cool. And Papa Bear, remember, has this great big old funky looking axe. And I almost forgot, a big fucking knife too. Like a big fucking knife. Which he tosses at Jazz, but Jazz, very badass, catches this knife. Okay. Now, if you were being set up as a badass, and you're catching this knife being thrown at you, right? He just like sticks his hand out to the side and catches it. You would think in a fluid motion you would then throw it back, right? Nay. No. Not Jazz. Not Jazz. Jazz throws it away. Fuck this knife. I got nunchucks. Buddy's got a fucking axe, but I got nunchucks, bro. He then turns and runs back into the woods, and Papa Bear runs right behind him. It's ridiculous. It's like Papa Bear throws the knife, Jazz catches it, throws it away, and then like there's like a second where they're kind of looking at each other, and then Jazz just literally turns around and runs directly into the woods, and Papa Bear's like, okay, runs after him. It's ridiculous. And then we see like Kelly, she's all hunkered down in front of the glass door or window, wherever the fuck it is that she's crawled into a ball at against the wall, and she's just crying and watching all this shit. And then, I don't know, we hear something and it goes black. So she's been taken. She's been knocked out and taken. Okay. We are to assume this because we're not shown anything. But when black turns to light again, we are all in the woods, like all of us, and brought her, George, and Jazz to a table set up like breakfast or something in the woods. George says that they won't get away with this, and Goldie reminds him that they shouldn't have broken into their house, and they are just serving justice. They take George and torture him. They burn him, and then they stick a grenade in his... Listen. They stick a grenade in his mouth, and he explodes, okay? Like... And it's even done like I mean, it's on, the explosion is on screen, but which would be a great effect, right? Cool. But it's like in the background and it's fuzzy, like, I don't know. It's not like I'm looking for a gore fest or anything, but like, I mean, like if you're going to do it, I don't know. I don't know. Just me? I don't know. Jazz and Kelly both break free from their bonds, okay? And again, they take off in separate directions. These people. Papa Bear goes after Jazz, and Goldie just sort of stands her ground and takes her hand cannon and just unloads it in Kelly's direction. Of course, she doesn't hit anything. Like, I mean, she's just standing there going crazy, shooting her hand cannon. Come on. The bear catches up with Jazz, and it's like they're about to do some, like, serious hand-to-hand shit, right? Like, they'll throw their weapons down, mano-y-mano. Papa Bear goes over, pops him once in the face, and that's it. But he's done. Such a letdown. I don't know if that was meant to be funny. I seriously don't know. But I was like, yes! Like, nope. They set him up to be this cool badass, and I mean, nope. Not even a little bit. Kelly makes her way through the forest and ends up finding like a small property with like a log style cabin house on it, and there's like a trailer. It's like a little farm. It's a cute little setup. And this home belongs to husband and wife Jamie and Norman. Jamie brings Kelly in and gives her some water. Kelly explains to her about Goldilocks and the three bears, that they killed everybody. Naturally, Jamie doesn't believe her. But when Kelly asks her to call the police, Jamie says they need to wait for her husband to get home. Like, she recognizes Kelly's been through some shit, right? But she thinks that she's Delulu from said trauma, going on about Goldilocks and the three bears, but does recognize she's been through some shit, right? Why do you have to wait for Norman to get home to call the fucking police? Why? I don't understand the thought process. But once Norman gets home, they'll take her somewhere safe. So, you just drink some water, have a nap, and when my husband gets home, then we'll handle shit. While Kelly sleeps, Norman comes home, and Jamie tells him what's happened while he was gone, and expresses how scared Kelly was. Like, she acknowledges that there's fuck shit afoot, okay? However, Norman just thinks that Kelly's on drugs. Like, kids these days, kids in their drugs. But he does think the situation as a whole is odd, okay? We'll give him that. But still, they don't call the police. Some random person has happenstanced to your property. You are out in buck-fuck nowhere, and somebody that you don't know has happenstanced onto your property, obviously been through some shit, going on and on about how everyone is dead, regardless of who did it. Okay, never mind the Goldilocks shit. People are dead, apparently. Okay. And you're not gonna call somebody? Like, you're not even gonna take her to a hospital or a clinic to get... Do you know what I mean? Everybody is stupid in this movie. Everybody is stupid. There are some noises outside, and so Norman goes out to check them out, of course. He walks around the property and checks everything out. We see Jamie then standing at the front door as we hear footsteps. And she turns around, and she seems to be startled. We hear her gasp, and she kind of, like that. And then the camera cuts back to Norman. As he hears faint screaming, he's walked himself over to the camper that we saw when Kelly came up. We also saw it earlier as Norman was checking everything. We seen the door kind of doing this. It was half open. And we just walk on in to check it out. Like, closed space and all. Like I said, people are stupid. And we hear more footsteps. And then he is grabbed from inside the trailer. But all we see is him we don't even see hands. We just see him kind of do this, right? The camera then cuts back to Kelly, who has been sleeping, okay? And she's hearing all these sudden noises that are obviously in the house, right? Like, we hear knocking on the doors, we hear knocking around the walls, like the walls inside the house, not the outer walls, okay? And she's just fucking laying there. She's just fucking laying there, right? She slowly sits up and she looks around. She does this. She walks toward the door that's like shaking because it's getting like cop knocked on. Really? She does not. Listen, I would have all the furniture up against that door. Like, I am stuck in this room. Okay. This is where the showdown is going to happen, right? I'm going to have every piece of furniture up against that fucking door. Like, she does nothing. She does nothing. I hate everybody in this movie, okay? Once the banging stops, she walks back over to the door, and there's like a window. She's here, the door's here, and there's like a window that we see. And I think we see somebody we're not, like, I think we see film crew. I think we see film crew. Listen, I wasn't all that interested in the movie to begin with, but that really took me out of everything, okay? Kelly backs away from the door, and Goldie is fucking behind her. She backs away from the door, and she just kind of like, here's Kelly, and Goldie just goes, whoop. It's fucking ridiculous. Kelly comes to, and she is back in the woods. We see Norman tied up to a tree, as well as Jamie. Goldie tells Norman she's sorry that they got involved. Goldie starts teasing the couple, and Kelly shouts in protest. Goldie yells at Kelly that she still hasn't learned her lesson, that actions have consequences. Goldie has said this once before. Trying to shove meaning into the movie. I trying to give them a reason for doing what they're doing. Like, just don't. Just leave it ambiguous. It's fine. We don't need to know. Papa Bear kills Norman. And the effect is done quite well. It's fine. It's fine. It's probably the best effect of the movie, to be honest. And it's a gushy one. Okay, I can't put it on YouTube, but it's a gushy one. Goldie has a wee chat with Jamie, little chitty chat, and she ends up throwing like a hatchet. And for a split second, we think that she's killed Jamie. But no, she's killed Kelly. Kelly's done. Kelly took that like a champ. And thank goodness. Like, I'm so over Kelly. I'm just so over Kelly. Goldie then explains to Jamie that the death of her husband and what's happening to her are the consequences of her actions. She says that she never should have gotten involved by helping Kelly. Basically, if she'd stayed out of it, you and your husband would be alive, and the two of you would be making dinner right now. The ultimate consequence for Jamie is to be allowed to survive and live with the aftermath that has happened. And then they all just walk away. They just leave Jamie there in the woods. I believe she's tied to a tree. And they go home. They go home. The end. That is Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Death and Porridge. Listen, I love the title. The title kicks ass. Now, is it remotely in the vein of anything Wes Craven has done? Not in my opinion, no. I mean, have I seen Wes Craven's entire catalog? No. I've seen a lot of them. And I would say no. I mean, it takes place in the forest, so I suppose you could sort of liken it to Last House on the Left. I don't know. I found Last House on the Left. I know a lot of people don't like it, but that movie scared the shit out of me. That movie scared the shit out of me. It was over the top and whatever, but I mean, given the time that it came out at, that was kind of the trend. The whole like grindhouse sort of thing. But I mean, that movie, the concept behind that movie scared the shit out of me. It's like the opening of Scream. That is my biggest fear in life. Somebody, doing like a true home invasion, like coming into my home while I'm alone, or me and my kids, and I mean, causing some fuck shit. That scares the shit out of me. More than any, torture porn or whatever the hell, more than any other like horror movie. Something that's realistic, that could happen, that has happened to people, scares the shit out of me. This was ridiculous. This was, I mean, listen. I'm all for a good fantasy, right? But if I'm going to watch something like that, I'm going to watch like, I don't know, Legend, Labyrinth, I don't know, something like that. Like, to me, that's fantasy. Okay. If you're going to do horror, do horror. This it was trying to be political, I guess. I don't know. There was a lot of throwaway shit that was kind of trying to be trendy. I don't know. I mean, listen, like I always say, I've never made a movie. They made a movie. They did the damn thing. Good for them. Would I recommend it? No. Well, I watched again. I mean, I've seen it twice. I'm good now. It's fine. I'm fine. It's good. It's whatever. Yeah. Listen, there's no character development. I could give a shit about any of these characters. The only ones I remotely felt bad for was Jamie and Norman, until they didn't call the cops. And then fuck them. They all deserved what they got. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. Are you kidding me? They all had cell phones. Nobody called the cops? Fuck off. I mean, listen. We are almost an hour, so I am going to call it a day. I will link in the description, as I always do, where you can watch this. I watched it on Tubi. Tubi is fabulous and full of movies like this. Like, it's great. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Yeah, it is what it is. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next one.